It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
Welcome to Inside the Patch. And I think the key word is patch, because I believe the Raiders have some patching to do. If you're under a rock and you haven't heard that Derek Carr has left the Raiders, at least to not be a distraction, I don't know. The theme of today's show is, dude, where's my car? Okay? And that's where we're going to go with this. Brian Noe is here. And Brian, I know you're kind of an insider to the NFL. You know more things than I know. What are your people saying? What's the word on the street?
Well, it's just Derek Carr is expected to get released. That's really what it is the Raiders didn't want to take a $40 million gamble because if Carr got hurt in these last two games and he couldn't pass a physical next year, then the Raiders would be on the hook for $40 million. It would become guaranteed money. So with this move and the timeline, they're most likely going to release him. There's a chance that they would try to trade Derek Carr. But the way the timing works, when the new league year kicks in, it's all, technical stuff. I don't think that they're going to be able to trade him. There would be a chance where if they didn't work out a trade, they would be on the hook for that $40 million. So I think they're going to have to bite the bullet and release the guy. And so it just depends on where he ends up. Could there be potentially multiple teams lining up and willing to trade for him so they could guarantee him? Yeah, it's possible, but I think those teams would obviously rather work out terms on their own instead of trading assets for Derek Carr on top of assuming control of his contract. So I think he's going to get released.
5 days till after the Super Bowl to decide if they're going to give him that money. And then I heard, okay, so let's say you want to make a trade with a team, like let's say the Colts. Well, the Colts could say, yeah, and then all of a sudden say, no, we don't want to do it, and pull a Josh McDaniel, which he did as a coach. So Josh McDaniel could get Josh McDanieled by the Colts. I mean, there's a trust issue then, and I think you're right. I think they're going to – but then I think about San Francisco. They've been trying to get rid of Garoppolo for 5 years, and he's still around. So is there a chance? Or he'd have to total restructure. They'd let him go and then bring him back, I guess. Nah, he's gone.
He gone. You ever hear Hawk Harrelson, the old White Sox play-by-play guy? He gone. Like that's where we're looking at with Derek Carr.
There's a little bit of disrespect and things, and that's like Baker Mayfield. When they go after what's his name from the Texans, massage guy, and he didn't want to go back. He's like, wait, you just basically got rid of me.
Yeah, and look, man, it's obvious with Derek Carr leaving the team, which I think is totally lame for the last two games. I get that he doesn't want to be demoted, and he's bent about it, and he might be embarrassed about it. I understand that he doesn't want to sit on the sideline holding a clipboard while Jarrett Stidham is in there. It's awkward. It's very awkward, but I just don't think leaving the team altogether is the right move. I just think that's so lame. There have been other quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota is doing the same thing with Atlanta this year. When he got demoted, he just left. It's like Taylor Heineke with the Commanders. He got benched, and he's still around. Like, he's not leaving. There have been many other quarterbacks that have been benched, and he didn't just leave the team. So I don't like that part of it. But it does show you that it's over. Like, he's not going to go from leaving the team to – now they're renegotiating. No, it's over.
Well, and the fact that they weren't going to even activate him for the game. So he'd have been in street clothes at the game. Why?
Yeah.
I
just think that it's your team. If you're sitting there crying in a press conference and saying it's about fighting for the man next to you and it's about team, well, you don't take your ball and go home when you get demoted. You still stick around. Like, look at Darius Leonard. He plays for the Colts. He's been on IR most of the year. He's in street clothes. He's on the sideline. But I understand that it might not be your first preference, but I think you finished what you started.
Well, but see, the thing is, we don't know exactly what happened. They might have said, well, here's the real deal, Derek. You're never going to play quarterback here again. Well, at that point, I think that conversation had to happen or something because he wouldn't leave. They basically said, look, great time. I've been fired many radio stations, and it's always that awkward, like they never let you finish your last shift because they're afraid you're going to say something. They never, and you're like, well, all right. And it's just best to go. But I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that Derek Carr was like, hey, I at least want to be on the sideline for my guys. I don't care if I'm in street clothes. Just let me finish out this season. And they were like, no, just leave. You've been here for a decade, but just go. Like,
right.
You don't even have time to box up your stuff. Just we'll send it to you. Leave right now. Like, people in radio know what that's like.
Yeah.
That's just not – look at Washington. It might not be the best comparison, or Atlanta. It's not like Atlanta said, Mariota, you're going to be on the bench while the rookie takes over. Leave now. Pack up your stuff and get out of here. They don't say that to players. Like, this is a Derek Carr decision.
Well, I left my last radio station. I remember this, and I remember, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be on. I don't want anything to do with them. I want to be separated. I want to move forward. The review mirror, great. I have all the Raider records, but the way it ends is not good. Look at Brett Favre. He went to the enemy. He left Green Bay, wasn't quite done, and he retired every year for 7 years, something like that. And then it's awkward. It is. It's super awkward. But I also think about, you could go back many examples. Think about Drew Bledsoe when he lost his job with the Patriots to Tom Brady. He didn't just leave. I'll never forget him being at his locker when he got demoted saying, yeah, I don't like it, but I got to suck it up and I got to be a pro. I'm paraphrasing, but that's really what it was about. Right. There's Tony Romo. Tony Romo got benched for Dak Prescott. He didn't just leave. Alex Smith, good example with the 49ers. Yeah.
He got benched for Colin Kaepernick midway through the season. They ended up going to a Super Bowl. He's on the sideline holding a clipboard after he had been scratching and clawing for years, and then was the backup guy. You know how awkward and how awful that feels? They didn't just leave, though. So I just will never back a decision to just okay, I'm the backup. Well, I guess I'm out of here altogether. That's lame.
Alex Smith got Mahomes, too. So he goes to the Chiefs, and then they bring him home. He's like, really? Thanks.
Yeah, I know. He was the backup plan. It's basically it, right? Like, he was the backup plan, and it's not a great place to be.
So my question is now, can Davante Adams just not catch passes and say, trade me? Can he just he's obviously upset. If you've seen his Twitter, he has been tweeting F-bombs to anyone that's hating on Derek Carr. And
man, he'd be tweeting middle finger emojis to me, it sounds like. What I'm saying with Derek Carr leaving the team. Sorry, Devontae, not trying to tick you off, but
his name is Brian Noe. Brian Noe.
Yeah.
Go to him on Twitter.
Yeah. At the No Show on Twitter. If you want to hit me up there, that's fine. But you know what, Devontae, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him because he could be like, get me out of here. I don't want to be with the Raiders. The reason I came to the Raiders was because of Derek Carr, my guy, and now he's gone. Well, I want to be gone too. It's going to be really interesting what Devontae wants going forward.
Know what he's going to want? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers as a Raider.
Well, that's the crazy thing, too. I was thinking the same thing where he was with Green Bay and he's thinking, hey, how long is Aaron Rodgers going to be here? How much longer is he going to play? So I'm going to go with the Raiders with my guy Derek Carr. And it wasn't even a full year with Derek Carr. It's crazy how that worked out.
Not the whole season. Not the whole season. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay, just saying the words Aaron Rodgers as a Raider kind of got me excited. Even though I'm still mourning the loss of DC, we got to do something, I am having a hard time with the Tom Brady rumors. I'm having a hard time with it. He's like the mortal enemy. That would
be tremendous for the Raiders. I don't know why you hate this so much. Like, think about it. Think about the alternative.
It's the history.
Right now, the Raiders have the 9th pick.
Right.
I know, but they have the 9th pick in the draft. And I don't know, it could go up, it could move down, right? But somewhere roughly in the top 10. I don't know which top prospects are still going to be on the board at that time. And if you're starting a daisy fresh rookie, that might not be the greatest scenario.
That's 2 years
at
down.
least for the short term.
Oh,
yeah. And then look at the free agent market. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think there are any world beaters on the free market. So getting Tom Brady with those weapons, that would be
okay.
For the Raiders.
It's just he's been my mortal enemy forever. The Tuck rule. I had to hate him. Don't make me like him.
It's with the devil over here.
Don't let me
get in the playoffs or not.
Playoffs. I just. I'd rather have Drew Brees. I don't know. I mean, they must have some plan because it doesn't all make sense to pull the rug out from under him. You know?
I think the plan is we haven't gotten over the hump with Derek Carr, so let's just go in a different direction. It's a lot like the Colts last year, and it might work out as badly as the Colts. The Colts, they just released Carson Wentz, and they were basically like, we'll figure it out as we go along, you know?
Right.
They ended up with Matt Ryan. A lot of people thought it was an upgrade. It turned out to not be an upgrade, but they just tried to figure it out as they went along. That's pretty much where the Raiders are. I doubt that they have this, it's going to be Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback. We're going to get him with the 8th overall pick. There's no way you can have a crystal ball as far as all that goes.
Right. I guess this is the hard part about being a fan is, we're not privy to everything, which that's the way it is. And you just don't know. And Josh McDaniels has such a reputation of just being a liar. Pants on fire, you know.
What I find to be funny is sometimes as a coach, you just can't tell the truth. Right. You know, the truth is, if he were to go into the press conference and he were to tell the truth would be, look, Derek Carr is all right. He's had some really nice seasons. He's done some good things, but we haven't won big, and he's been bad this year. He leads the league in interceptions. So it's an organizational decision. We're moving on, life without Derek Carr. And we don't want to be on the hook potentially for $40 million. So we're putting him in bubble wrap so he doesn't get injured and we can release him. That's what we're doing. And in the meantime, it's the Jared Stidham show and we'll see what happens. But he has to sell it as, we want to evaluate Jared Stidham.
Right.
We haven't seen much film on him. It's like, dude, really? I know you got to do it. I know you got to play the whole song and dance thing, but it's not the truth at all.
You know, and the thing is, he's not very good at it. Like, as far as poker players, you could tell he's lying. He's looking at his feet. He's got every tell that I am just lying. And I don't sound believable at all. And so we know we're getting scammed.
He's the poker player that is acting. He's acting like he's holding pocket kings, and you know it's 310 offsuit. You know, like you just know 100%. It is. I agree with you. He's not a great liar.
Worst bluffer in the history of the NFL. I know that, like you said, it's his job. It's like, I would like to have that Jim Carrey liar movie where, remember, Jim was a lawyer, and then for one day he couldn't lie, and just zap him with that.
Yeah.
Just tell us the real deal.
I would love that. Just one day of nothing but NFL head coach interviews. And they have to tell the truth.
Oh, you're getting
just
zapped
all the time. Hey, Ron Rivera, what do you think about Carson Wentz? He stinks. That's what I think.
I hate
We're
him.
Screwed. He's not. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to hear that.
You know, it'd get all personal too. I don't even like Mark's hair. I don't care if he's the owner. He's the worst hairdo in the NFL, and I don't like him. And I said whatever I had to get this job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know how hard that would be. I mean, honestly, think about that. More for me, I am blunt sometimes. I'm very direct, transparent. If I had a job like an NFL head coach and I just had to either avoid the truth, spin the truth, or not tell the truth, that would be really difficult. But I get it. You got to play that game. You can't just go in the post-game press conference and dog all your players and say they stink. Like,
No, you
it's not going
can't.
to work in your favor to do that.
It's like politics. You've got to lie because you know you can't be on both sides of the fence. You want to appear to be, but you're not. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Jets head coach, Robert Saleh. Zach Wilson has been bad this year. Bad. And there have been a lot of post-game press conferences where he's like, well, we just tried to get the run game going with our third-string quarterback. It's not so much about Zach. It was more about just trying to get a jolt for the running game. It's like, dude, really? It's not even believable.
I know. So as a Raider fan, what if we win the next two games? And what if some miracle, because we're not out yet. We are mathematically not out. What happened? Oh, we made the postseason. Derek, you want to come back or no, you're gonzo, right? So, all right, Stedham, let's do this. It's like, oh.
How fun would that be? That would be so fun. It's not going to happen, but I'm rooting for fun. I'm rooting for Jarrett Stidham. I'm rooting for the Niners to just take Jarrett Stidham too lightly, and he has the game of freaking games. He goes Baker Mayfield 2.0 and shocks the world. The Raiders win out. Everything breaks their way, and then what? I pray for that scenario. I can't imagine we're going to see it, but that would be a lot of fun.
Okay, you know what that reminds me of is when Arnold Schwarzenegger was running for governor of California. And I was like, that's hilarious. And everybody went, he won? And then Trump did the same thing. What? He won? What? And it's like, oh, my goodness. That's the equivalent of the Raiders winning out. But see, the Niners have something
Maybe
to play
that's
for.
the thing. Let's go down this road.
Okay.
If Stid gets off to a rough start, you got to sign Arnold. You know, we didn't think he was going to be the governor, and he was. We don't think the Raiders are going to win out. I mean, if they've got Arnold behind center, maybe.
You don't. You know, he says, I'll be back. Dutch back. That's horrible.
Get to the chopper. You know, it's like, I don't know, maybe there's a get to the post pattern. You know, that's how he's calling plays
the
in the
corner.
huddle.
The corner. I do it to you.
Yeah, get to the out route.
And then he gets fired for trying to make out with cheerleaders. So, I mean, it's just, you never know. The governor.
Now that's one where I don't know if he's married or not right now, but, you know, the Raider cheerleaders are some good-looking cheerleaders. So I couldn't blame Arnold for that one, assuming he's not married right now.
Oh, we are celebrating today the birth of Nick Cannon's 12th child. 12th child.
Wow.
So he's like Seattle.
How old is this child? Do you know?
Oh, it was just born.
So it was just born.
Yeah. So he's 12.
Okay. Wow.
12 children. Yeah. So he's got the Seattle 12th man. He's got everything. He's got a team plus an extra player. So way to go, Nick Cannon. Attaboy. And he got a couple Mariah Carey babies. That's got to be worth something, you know.
It's got to be. Yeah, got to be worth something.
Maybe we should get Nick Cannon on the Raider payroll to breed, and have more players right into the family.
Can you imagine what life would be like? I mean, really, when you've got that many kids and just that situation in general where that's got to be so weird.
And you got one for every month of the year. Hey, January, come on. That's just
that. I can't even imagine what life would be like, man.
You can't quit.
I mean,
working.
and these kids are. I would assume they're spread out all over the place around the country. And when do you see them? And
Camardi had like 8 kids, I think, didn't he? Remember, played for the Jets, and he had like 8 kids, and then all different moms, all new moms. It's like
it's a lot, man. A lot going on. If that's the scenario.
The Raiders still in it, ladies and gentlemen. Got to get past the Niners.
Is it finally going to be next week? Is it going? It feels like Groundhog Day, where there's still a chance. I love this with the Rams. I can't remember. I'm assuming they're eliminated right now, but it was last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that. It was like the Rams are not technically eliminated, but ESPN's predictor model gives them a 0.0 chance to get into the playoffs. I was like, what? How does that even make sense?
There is a chance the Raiders can find a way to get this done. So I guess next week we could say now they're out. But so far we haven't had to say that. We're still in.
Yeah. Is it going to be next week that you can say they've been eliminated?
There is a sliver of hope that the pinky guy is still nervous because I want his pinky cut off. But I think he chose right. This whole season, as I look back, and we put the show together. We're gonna, the Raiders are on paper great, and it just never happened. But so we have some hope. There's still hope.
Better than the Broncos, though.
Yeah,
that's shocking.
They're out. So
they're way out, way out.
Yeah.
And
so
the
I
head
guess
coach one and done. Better than the Broncos. Maybe that's the
our
slogan
season
for this season. It's been disappointing for the Raiders, but hashtag better than the Broncos.
I love it. Yeah. And there's still, I don't think we have hope. I think it's just ho. That's all we got. Just get the H-O maybe. But it's, I don't even, there's got to be like a plane crash and there's no chance. There's no way. But we're not out of it.
Yeah.
We're not out of it, Brian. All right?
Yeah. It's, I guess. It's all about get a quarterback. That's the real hashtag. Get a quarterback.
And nothing can be done like as far as trade until the 3 months after the season, right? When does the NFL season start?
Yeah, I think it's right around March 15th is when the new league year begins. It's the 15th or the 16th, right around there.
Right.
They have that like tampering period right before it, but it's not official until right around the 15th.
All right. Well, like I said, next week we'll be here to tell you that they're officially out, or there was a soap opera called Brian's Hope. So Brian's hope is that we still are in, right?
It's Gnarly's Hope. Gnarly's hope right here.
That's true.
The remade movie. Yeah.
I'm glad that we're going to get to the end of the season before we can say that, though, at least. It sucks if we're 6 weeks out. We're mathematically out. But it's just.
Yeah, it does. It does. So they're alive. It's weird, right? The AFC is so top heavy, where there's some teams with some really good records, but for the Raiders at 6-9 to still have any sort of fighting chance, it's crazy.
That's ridiculous. And if 3 of those games that were finished in the last second would have changed, we have a whole other show.
I'm just looking. Even the Dolphins have 8 wins. I guess they could lose out. Yeah, I can't believe the Raiders still have a shot. That's wild.
Not a good shot.
No.
At least better than the Broncos.
Would it be less? If we go back to Texas Hold'em, would it be less than 2-7 offsuit? Right? It feels worse than that. I know there's not a hand worse than that, but it feels like the Raiders' chances for the playoffs are worse.
Right. Yeah. We need seriously an act of Congress and some sort of, I don't know, a hurricane. We need lots of things to happen. But
maybe the Raiders initially had 2-7 offsuit and they just lost one of their cards.
Right.
It's like their playoff chances are a little lower. They misplaced it. They're looking around. I don't know where the 7 or the 2 went. I just have one card. So you got one card and you're hoping to win the hand with that one card. Maybe that's what the Raiders are looking at.
I remember Dennis Rodman was at a poker table and he ate one of his cards. He was pissed off about the hand, so he just ate it. And I think once you consume a card, it's off the table. It's no good.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
They're not going to follow you around with a bag.
Like the hot dog eating contest.
Yeah.
Where they have the reversal. I hope that once it's gone, it's off the table for good. Can you imagine if Rodman hit his one outer and he needed that card back?
I know. Don't eat your cards. But that's what the Raiders just did. They ate their car, and that's the problem. All right. Yeah. Brian, thank you for being on again. And I feel my positive gnarlsness is waning. It's not.
Hey, man, take all that positivity from the 2022 season and hoping they'll sneak into the playoffs and just apply it to the quarterback search. Just apply all that positivity, and hopefully they'll find a good quarterback.
I'm going to Google today and see if I can help the Raiders out. I'll just kind of get out there, see who's out there, Maybe there's someone out there with a little bit left in the tank that we're missing, Who knows?
Get on that Google, man.
I'm on it.
Get on that Google.
I'm going to fix this. All right. Hey, coming up next, we have Phil Villapiano, former Oakland Raider, and I'd like to hear his take on this. We'll find out, and I'm sure he's not happy. That's next.
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.